Shri Ramachandra Shri Ramachandra Kripa Kanjarunam Kandarpaganita Amita Chavinava Neelarada Sundaram Vatapitamana Tadita Ruchi Shuchi Naomi Janakasuta Param Shri Shri Siyara Shri Ram Siyara Shri Ramachandra Kripa Haran Bhavarunam Shri Ramachandra Kripa Haran Bhavarunam Navakanjalochana Kanjamukhakar Kanjapadkanjarunam Kandarbhaganita Amita Chavinava Nila Nirada Sundara Patapitamana Tadita Ruchi Shuchi Naomi Janaka Sutabaram Shri Ram Shri Ram Ram Shri Ram Shri Ram
We'll translate her. Does she want to ask something?
So, Father, yesterday I was chatting with Amma and about the Japa part. So she had some confusion around that. How to.
What is the practice she's doing? How is she?
Shivaya Namaho. Om is what she does. Okay, when she breathes in, then it's Shivaya Namaha. And when she breathes out, it's Om.
Very good. So what is she finding in her practice? What's happening?
feels joy.
And how long is the practice usually in a day?
ಒಂದು ದಿನದಾಗ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸತಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ? ಅಲ್ಲ, ಮುಂಜಾನೆ ಅಥವಾ ಮಧ್ಯಾಹ್ನ. Throughout the day, but when she's working, then the focus is on the activity, but otherwise ನೀಯಾಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಿ and ಒಳಗೆ ನಡೀತಿರ್ತದೆ. It's happening on the inside. She's not saying it vocally, but
does it feel like happening always with effort or sometimes without effort also? Canada. ಹೌದು.
ಈಗ ನೀ ಅದೇ ಮಾಡ್ತೀಯಲ್ಲ, ಜಪ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಒಳಗೆ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ಲಾರ್ದು ಆಗ್ತಿರ್ತದ, ಏನ್ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು? ವಿತೌಟ್ ಎಫರ್ಟ್.
Always without effort.
ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಇಲ್ಲ.
Maybe the prayatna ka
In the morning she has to put
start
that
it off.
effort, and then it goes without effort.
It doesn't stop in the day anytime?
Stop. When in between, when she gets busy with an activity, that's when it stops. But when she comes back and sits, then it starts again.
So when activity is happening, suppose some message came, send like that. So in that moment it was lost. So then once you remember that, oh, I went away from it, then it can start again on its own.
Has to sit and bring it again, like she has to pray. She prays, and then there.
What is the deepest silence she's felt? Tough. What about Manu, Kannada?
It's so quiet that she doesn't want to do anything. She wants to just
What was she saying? Japa madi madi?
sumne, I have to
keep doing it. Yeah. Yes. Then does she follow that? That's good. So when the mind starts planning some things and things like that, she tries to return to the japa. I got that. Now, when she goes into the mauna, then the mind starts troubling more.
thoughts come. She's in that silence.
And she doesn't feel like when the mind is coming with all the yojana, then it's easy to let it come and go, or it's difficult?
ಮೌನ ಇದ್ದಾಗಮ್ಮ ಬಿಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಏನ್ ಹಿಡಿಬೇಕನ್ನಿಸ್ತದೆ. She is able to let them go, but many come.
Many come. And every day many come, or
ಇಲ್ಲ.
See, exactly.
Mostly when she's praying,
She's constantly in that. If she's wasted time, then the mind.
So she's saying that
Close
if
mind.
when she's praying, then the thoughts are less, but and even they bother less. In her silence, when they come, they're not so many. But let's say 1 or 2 days when she gets distracted, she's talking to people, like chit chatting and not praying, then it becomes more difficult to come back.
That's good. That's very good. In the silence, does she feel like something gets one pointed inside, like gets collected like that? ऐसा feeling होता?
ಮೌನ ಅವಾಗ ನೀ ಹೋಗ್ತೀಯಲ್ಲ, ಅವಾಗ ಒಳಗೆ ಹೋದಾಗ ಫುಲ್ ಒಂದ ಕಡೆ ಏಕಾಗ್ರ ಅನಿಸ್ತದ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಅನಿಸ್ತದ. So the teacher has told her that there's Guru's feet in your heart, and just focus there. So and when she sits, then the focus goes there.
I think. And there is a period of time where effortlessly she can be over there. When the dhyana has happened, then it seems after a point that it is effortless that she stays over there.
To the dhyana, she feels more centered.
When she stays there, then does she feel sometimes that something is arising out of that? Some outpouring is happening?
ಏನ್ರ ಹೊರಗೆ ಬರ್ತದ?
Like prema, some shanti.
Sometimes she feels like she wants to go and hug someone, she wants to smile at someone, but no, it doesn't always happen. But
Does she feel sometimes that, okay, first I want to say, perfect. Very, very good. No problem. All good. After this, only like bonus. How will you explain? Did she feel ever that there's a presence there of like Atma or Guru or God? Does she feel like there's some, what is the, like she has a sense beyond perception of Atma there?
This is where I get stuck with words uh, to communicate it. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಾಗಮ್ಮ ದೇವ್ರ presence. Presence.
Like a sense of existence, like a sense of being. Being is in Hindi. Hmm. What is that? Acha. What is it? Sannidhi, Sannidhi.
Complex. I say that, so I say ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಪ್ರೆಸೆನ್ಸಿಗೆ
She is good. ऐसा लगता है कुछ है वहां पे. हाँ.
she feels there is something. Sometimes when she is there, and if she goes to someone's house, then she feels I shouldn't be here, or I should go here. I should say this, I shouldn't say this.
So something nudges her from inside.
ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ.
Who is that?
ಯಾರು ಅದನ್ನು ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ?
Who she?
ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಳಗೆ ನಿಂಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿರ್ಬೇಕು ಇಲ್ಲಿರ್ಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತ ಅನಿಸ್ತದಲ್ಲ, ಅಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಳಗಿಂದ ನಿಂಗೆ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾರೋ ಹೇಳ್ಲಿಕ್ಕತ್ತಾರ ಅನ್ನಿಸ್ತದೆ. ಹಾ, ಅದು ಯಾರಂತ ನಿಂಗೆ ಅನಿಸ್ತದೆ? She's saying that there's no person there, but some nudging comes. Like there's no person sitting there who's telling me what.
What is she saying about the Atma?
ಅಲ್ಲೇನು
She said something. No? Chet. Very good. Very good. She just has to stay there. That's all.
ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇರ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಆದಷ್ಟು. ಈಗಿನ ತನಕ ನೀ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕತ್ತಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಚಲೋ ಅದ. ಆದಷ್ಟು ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ.
Guruji has told her very well. It's all good. What's his name?
ಅವ್ರ ಹೆಸರು ಜಿ
Namgyan.
ಉತ್ತಮ್. I've met him.
Hmm?
I've met him.
Hmm. Very good instruction.
His name is Venkatesh Pujar, but his guru has named him Uttam.
Is Uttam. Very, very. She doesn't have any problem.
ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅದ ಮಾಡೋಬೇಕಾರ ಅಥವಾ ಎಲ್ಲರ ಏನರ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್
Same problem every same. It's okay.
ನಡೀತು.
It's okay.
Because she's been doing Sri Ram Jai Ram since she was 10 or something. But now it's in the last few years it's changed to Om Namah Shivaya.
How many years?
ಇದು ಶಿವಾಯ ನಮ ಓಂ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷ ಆಯ್ತು? 2-3 years.
Settling, no? In this one.
ಇದು ನಿಂಗೆ ಸೆಟಲ್ ಅನ್ನಿಸ್ತದ? ನಿಂಗೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅನಿಸ್ತದ? She doesn't know which one to do.
What do they call you? घर पे क्या बोलते हैं आपको?
ಏನಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ? ನಾವಿಬ್ರು ನಿಂಗೇನು ಕರಿತೀವಿ?
अम्मा है. कभी मम्मी बोला तो चलेगा. माँ बोला तो ठीक है. मॉम. एग्जैक्टली. भगवान भी ऐसे है. हाँ? राम बोलो, शिवा बोलो, उनको समझ आता है. डोंट वरी. All these are ways in which we can relate to him. But if your guru has told you one path to follow, then you can follow that. There's no problem. Ramji won't be upset. Tell him. He's told her.
ಗುರುಜಿ ಶಿವಾಯ ನಮೋ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕತ್ತಿ ಅಂತ ರಾಮ್ಜಿ ಸಿಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. The teacher has told them that this paduka that is here, you can consider it Ramji's paduka, you can consider it Krishnaji's paduka. They do it outwardly also,
Okay.
and then
The bhav comes.
they say that this one we are now sthapna, we are doing it in your heart.
So she was parishan.
No, so yesterday we had this conversation. We didn't go so much, no, so she was telling me about ajapa japa, and then we started talking, and then she told me a story of Brahma Chaitanya. Brahma Chaitanya is a renowned sage in North Karnataka. So Gondavali, Maharashtra. So then we got to talking, but somewhere I felt it was with effort, like the japa was with effort. Then I said, okay, let's talk more about this, because I wasn't.
It's good. Right. So she can explain her method fully and you can translate so everyone knows what her practice is like.
ಅಮ್ಮ ನೀ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀಯಲ್ಲ ನಂಗೆ ಪೂರ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ ಆಗಿ ನಂಗೆ ಹೇಳು, ನಾ ಅದನ್ನ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. Saying that when someone uses these words like awareness in Chaitanya, so she feels something in her head, like
Yeah.
some heaviness,
Same.
or something.
I also.
Other,
Not needed. It's not needed. It's not needed to know these words. No.
ತಿಳ್ಕೊಬೇಕಂತ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ. She um, does she does the japa, which is Shivaya Nama Om. So when she breathes in, she says Shivaya Namaha, and breathes out Om. So Shivaya Nama Om is something that she, even when she's doing the dhyan or she throughout the day, that's her mainly japa.
And then she's been told that in her heart, the Sadguru's feet are there.
In and she's asked to keep her focus on the feet of the Guru in the heart, which and she keeps her focus there, and then there's also deep silence that comes, and she likes to stay there, and um, the days when she prays, it's easier to go there to that place, but the days when she hasn't prayed, then coming there feels like a task.
Very good.
Father, also my fear was that she watches a lot of these YouTube videos about spirituality and all that, and sometimes she watches them one after the other. I don't know how much it's being. So that's where I was concerned. That's why I wanted you to talk to her, because she wants to also understand, but and that is coming, I feel, from both. Somewhere she has that yearning to know what is the truth, but she's also somewhere, this is my thing. Okay, that's why I was concerned.
It is the daughter.
So I told her, just slow down on that.
You also watch, no?
Not so much. She's in a role,
Good.
but that's all. Yeah.
Say what?
I'm
You feel
scared
like they're
that
very
it's being
conceptual videos.
conceptual spirituality.
But she's saying that she doesn't like all this concept.
No, but there's also a part of her she wants to understand.
What does she watch?
Some Kannada videos of Param Gyan, this, which is not Kannada. No. I'm,
Yeah.
but somewhere I feel it's going to the wrong place. This is my concern.
She's able to pray and she's able to go there. And she feels the outpouring sometimes and she feels the silence sometimes. There's nothing to worry.
I feel she's also
What is the video she...
some random YouTube.
That's what you were saying. What is she
It's all random. Manu can also support me for that. He has also told her to stop this.
What videos?
Same video notes in YouTube. There's a person called Vijay Kant. He talks about Atma Gyan.
Also, Atma Gyan Kendra.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying.
We'll have a look. We'll have a look.
Yeah. Like that's why I'm really concerned because she has that, but I don't
But
know.
she doesn't like hearing about Atma and all
No, 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 no.
that.
She's also listening to a lot of stuff.
Somebody asks her, she gets trouble.
Mhm. I think she's giving you, of course, that whatever she shared is she's true. I've seen her do all of that, but
She's feeling a bit like she's under the test. So that's why. But you can't make this stuff up. So,
but also like I'll reach somewhere, like a final attainment, like enlightenment is there. Like maybe that's that my fear is that it's deeply embedded in her somewhere, and I don't know how to uproot it.
does it inspire her to do the practice more, to stay with God more? Or does it become like she wants to talk about it and
She wants to talk about it. If she finds someone, she wants to sit with them and talk about it.
no, that's very good. But does she want to talk about it like, देखो देखो मुझे कितना पता है?
ನಂಗೇನಾತಂದ್ರೆ ಹಿಂಗೆ she likes to talk about it, not from this thing, but with me, Father, a few times she's told me that, this light comes when I'm meditating. Uh,
And she's married.
yeah, like there's a light and this happens, that happens. So
Where's the lie?
a light comes with the light. Something like that, it comes here.
What color?
ಯಾವ ಕಲರ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ
Feels it here.
it comes and goes, but it's there. So this, when she was sharing with me, Father, I told her, okay, all that is okay. You just stay with the. I didn't want her to, because somewhere in between, I felt that she was
It can get into.
going into these experiences. So
She has to just take them as offering prasad from God, not as the main darshan. These are very good things to encourage us to stay. Like you may have some blue light, some different based on the chakras, but all these should be taken as offering from God to encourage us to pray more, not as the main darshan itself.
ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಬಿಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಅವು ಮೇನ್ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಮೇನ್ ಏನದಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಏನೇ ಬಂದರೂ ಪ್ರಸಾದ ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡು ಅವ್ನು ಅಷ್ಟು ದೇವ್ರ ಪ್ರಸಾದನ ಅದು, ಆದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು. ಮೇನ್
But it's encouragement also to pray more.
ಅದು ಚಲೋ, ಹಂಗಾದ್ರೂ ಚಲೋ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ನಿನಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗ್ತದಲ್ಲ ಒಳಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸ್ಬೇಕು ಹೊರತು ಅದನ್ನ ಹಿಡ್ಕೋಬಾರ್ದು. She gets a lot of body aches
Head like that?
everywhere, everywhere in the body sometimes.
When during the sadhana or?
ಸಾಧನ ಇದು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾರೆ ಇನ್ನು ಇಡೀ ದಿನ. Only when she sits, there's one part that pains. Sometimes it's the wrist, sometimes it's the forearm.
And after the
ಧ್ಯಾನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ then it goes away. Only during meditation it's there.
it's coming to distract you, just stay with God as much as possible.
ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಆಗಲಿ ಅದು ನಿನಗೆ ದಾರಿ ತಪ್ಪಿಸ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರ್ಲಿಕ್ಕತ್ತಾವು, ಅದು ನೀ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು. ಮಾಯಾ
Exactly.
ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ನೀ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋದು ಬಿಡ್ಬಾರ್ದು, ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು. ಕೈ ನೋವು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. She's asking, should I meditate or no? I said, you must.
Yeah.
ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು.
See, whatever she's doing is perfect. No problem.
ಈಗೇನು ಇಲ್ಲ ನಾ ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನೀ ಅದನ್ನ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳಿಕತ್ತದೆ ಏನಂತ ಈಗ ಬರ್ಲಿಕ್ಕತ್ತ. ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಧ್ಯಾನ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಆದ್ರೆ ಇಡೀ ದಿನ ಜಪಾನು ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತೀರಿ. She wants to sit for hours on end. ಕೂಡ್ಬೇಕಂತ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಇಡೀ ದಿನಾನು ಅದು ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಜಪ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತಿರ್ಬೇಕು.
Up to 4 hours every day she can sit without problem.
4 ತಾಸು ಕೂಡ್ಬೇಕು.
More than that, she can get in touch with me and see what.
She's asking when she's in that deep dhyana, should she keep doing the japa?
No.
ಬೇಡ.
Oh, tell her the eating and cooking thing.
ನೀ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನೀ ಕೂಡ್ತಿ ಧ್ಯಾನಕ್ಕಂತ ಕೂಡ್ತಿಯಲ್ಲ, ಅವಾಗ ನೀ ಜಪ ಹೇಳ್ತಿ, ಓಂ ಶಿವಾಯ ನಮೋ ಶಿವಾಯ ಅಂದ ಕೂಡ್ಲೆ ನೀ ಅನ್ಲಿಕ್ಕತ್ ಕೂಡ್ಲೆ ನೀ ಒಳಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಿ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದ ಕೂಡ್ಲೆ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು ಅನಿಸ್ತದಿಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀ 1 ತಾಸು ಕೂಡು, 2 ತಾಸು ಕೂಡು, 3 ತಾಸು ಕೂಡು, 4 ತಾಸು ಕೂಡು, ನಡೀತದ. ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರ ಈಗ ನೀ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿ ಅಂತಿಕೋ, ಅವಾಗ ಮತ್ತೆ ಶಿವಾಯ ನಮೋ ಶಿವಾಯ ನಮೋ ಯೋಚನೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ಮತ್ತೊಂದ್ 2 ಸತಿ ಜಪ ಹೇಳಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಬರ್ಬೇಕು. ಕೂಡ್ಬೋದು, 4 ತಾಸು ತನಕ ಕೂಡ್ಬೋದು. 4 ತಾಸ್ಗಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆತಂದ್ರೆ ಫಾದರ್ ಬರೀಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳಿಕದ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ.
Her Guruji is there anyway.
ದಿನ ಇಡೀ ದಿನ ಜಪ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತೀರ. That's what I told her, that after the dhyan ಇಡೀ ದಿನ. She says she is not doing with the japmala, but she's doing with the breath.
The subtler we get, the subtler the anchor becomes. Initially, when we are not used to it, then we need to use outer forces. We need to speak out loudly. As we get used to it, then it becomes inward with the breath. Then even sometimes she'll notice that the breath is also not needed, or it seems to stop, or it becomes really subtle. Okay, totally.
Once it happened that her breath stopped and she was looking for it.
Right.
And she got scared.
Don't get scared.
And she came out.
Don't get scared.
ಅವ್ರೇನಂತಕತ್ತಾರೆ, ಹೆದರ್ಬೇಡ, ಏನು ಆಗಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಹೋಗಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ತಾನ ಬರ್ತದ.
It was all empty and breath also stopped, correct?
Yeah. ಉಸಿರು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫುಲ್ there was silence and the breath stopped.
And was there a sense that I am, कि मैं हूँ, ऐसा लगता है कि मैं होता.
Streams of white light.
Okay.
When I ask her this, who I am, or then she said, I don't know all that, but this happened.
No, in the sense that there's a stage in Savikalpa Samadhi where the breath will even stop and you lose all sense of where you are, what you are, if you exist. Is it like that? It's not a Advaita question.
ಈಗ ನೀ ಉಸಿರು ನಿಂತಲ್ಲ ಅಮ್ಮ, ಉಸಿರು ನಿಂತಾಗೂ ನೀ ಎಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಿ, ನೀ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡಿ, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗ್ತದ.
मेरा नाम क्या है,
ನನ್ನ ಹೆಸರೇನು, ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತಿರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಹಂಗಾಗಿತ್ತನು? ನೋ, ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಡಿನ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್. ನೀ ಎಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಿ, ನೀ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಿತ್ತು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ.
Just the breath stopped.
Just the breath stopped.
It's all good. On the path to all these samadhi states, all these things will happen.
Hyderabad. Sometimes she wants to wake up at 1 in the morning and sit to meditate.
That's why I called her my sister always.
ನಡೀತದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವ್ರು ನಿಂಗೆ ತಂಗಿ ಅಂತಾರೆ.
So let her give you gyan instead of the other way around.
Yeah.
ये बच्चे नहीं सुनते ना आपके? हाँ, सुनते? हाँ, सुनते? क्या सुना था लास्ट? Well, that is going on. She said, no, Manu, listen more. Yeah. Last one. Her mouth is saying it's fine, but her face is not. She said because he stays with her there. That's good interaction, no? Although the language was that all the asking. So all the various paths and all the various teachers, the pathway has to lead to the same place. Now the representation can be the light of Atma, or the Guru's feet, or Ramji is there, or Jesus is there, or the Spirit is there, Allah is there. You may say whatever, but the path is the same one. That is not, we cannot go through any other way.
So many people, the breath is used as a tool, almost like to focus. So if it's a very subtle tool, maybe, but and then when you feel that you stop breathing, it's not really that you physically stop breathing. It's because that use of it as a tool it's no longer there, right? The observer and the or something like that. But it's not that. I mean, you can't, of course, not stop breathing. You can. Does a person actually stop breathing? Yeah.
So it does happen that you don't use the breath as an anchor anymore. That stage is there. But there's also a point where you reach where you notice that even your breath has stopped.
Actually stopped.
Actually stopped. Like you don't find yourself breathing anymore. And soon after that, you don't find yourself at all. And soon after that, you don't find any phenomena at all.
But if there was a doctor in the room and you say that you stop breathing, actually, you would definitely not have stopped breathing, right? It is your sense of being that we don't know.
I don't know whether anybody's done any, but our experience is that.
Yeah.
Our experience is that. There's no, like, sometimes you will also see the body like falling off. And no sense of any connection between yourself and the body. It'll just be lying there like a dead instrument. So things happen, but none of these are the main thing. The main thing is that which is way beyond this entire universe. The breath is a very good anchor for the prayer, just to, when the mind is a little active, it's a very good, you see, because you can have the rhythm of most chants, you can match it with the breath as well. They even said, somebody was saying, no, that it's very close to the primal word. And then, what is Father Richard Rohr saying? They were like, the name of God, just through the breath, not even adding anything to it. It's just that, Yahweh, Yahweh. Yeah. And Soham is the same. So, so the incoming breath is So, and the outgoing breath is Hum. So Soham is just an expansion of Om. So if you just stay with the sound of the breath. So Krishna told us in the Gita that if you keep your attention here and just keep hearing the sound of your breath, then that itself is a very beautiful practice. In the third eye, this part between the eyebrow, in the Gita, it's there. So because Arjuna said, how do I practice? So he said, it's simple. Just do this. Keep your attention here and keep hearing the sound of your breath. That is beautiful practice. Yes.
I feel like if one is exposed to another person's practice, I just my feeling, even if I allowed myself to put on my thinking cap, I may think, how ridiculous is this? But if I stay away from that, I feel like there is, to seriously, in this case, to each his own, right? I mean, because there is no right and wrong, and
Well, in the sense that definitely each one has their own temperament, and every one of us is carving a unique pathway to God. So just like in my life, we can't really templatize what is the pathway. No, most our lives, or all our lives actually, will be like that, where it will be unique. No? Having said that, so it's not for us to judge. Having said that, sometimes there are some very obvious mind traps, mind tricks, like creating some fear or specialness or something like that. So that obviously then we can point out and say that you seem to be getting stuck in the wrong place. Like we said about like only during the sadhana, the pain is coming in the body. So I said the mind is tricking you. So she immediately said Maya. That's it. So we can just spot it like that. And then we try not to bother with that. So also it can be very simple question like, but my teacher told me always to chant, never to stop. But when I go into the silence, then it feels natural to stop. So should I stop or should I continue it? Because it seems contrary to what my teacher told me. So it's good to clarify that, no, that is the very point. You can stop over there. So something like that can be helpful. Actually, that instruction, which is popular in India especially, is that we must always, always chant no matter what. But actually, it is that you must always chant till you come to a point where that stillness is reached, and then get in touch again and tell the report from that point. But I feel like what has happened is that so few actually do the practice with a lot of faith and regularity. So then it is just shared openly that you must, no matter what, just chant. But not, you don't need to, when the call has been answered and it's your turn to listen, then it's very safe. In fact, it is very advisable not to exert our will anymore. You know? And then we may find there are so many phases that may happen. So you may find that the chanting is happening from a deeper place where we are no longer chanting anyway. And sometimes even that stops in a very holy place. So we don't have to, but the mind can trouble us. See, but your teacher had said you must always, always chant. That's why I feel like that cooking and eating thing is helpful. What is?
Right mode of
On the right mode, yes. Amen. Yes. When we talk about spiritual reality, that reality can never seem like a reality to our perceptions, our sensory perceptions, or to our mind. You see, the mind can sort of try and fake it and say, I am Nirguna, I am the boundless presence, the Saguna, but it has no actual insight into this. You see, it does not even recognize love. It can recognize the feeling of love. It can recognize grasping, wanting, desire, but it can't recognize that which is deeper than, subtler than all of these things. Just like, so let's say a simple example, in the air, it is said that there is oxygen, there is hydrogen, there is nitrogen, there's all of these. But where is it? You see? So we can't, through our senses, we can't perceive it. So in the same way, subtler than all of these, subtler than the world, subtler than all of space itself, is the space of our being. And subtler than the space of our being in which even this space is born, subtler than that is the beyond being and not being. Even the guna of beingness is not there in that. Now, a good way to look at this is that we can only see this with borrowed eyes. We can't see it with our own eyes. You see? But there is a beautiful one who lives in our heart, who we call the Guru, who lends us his eyes or her eyes, whichever way we refer to the Guru. So because he lends us his eye, we are able to see that, see in quotes, see that which is unperceivable. And that is why the Guru is called the bringer of light. You see? But the bringer of light, like the word translates into the bringer of light, the one who brings light. But that the light that he brings is the most beautiful, because only in that light can we see that which is beyond perception. In the light of the sun, in the light of a strong electric power, device, you can see a lot of that which is phenomenal. Because no light has made the claim in the world that in my light you can see the non-phenomenal. You see? Now that light is only the Guru. You see? That mode of knowledge, that which we're calling a mode of knowledge, actually we should not, I should not, is the Guru himself. It's like he lifts us up and makes us see from a place which we cannot access in our normal worldly existence. And that is why this entire process is grace. This part of seeing that which is beyond perception is pure grace. Because you can't predict it, you can't demand it, you can't be entitled to it, we can do whatever we want. But unless it is the grace of the Atma within, it will not unfold in that way. You see, so nobody can make a guarantee and say, I stood on one leg for 1,000 years and did practice, so I must have it. You see? You're not entitled to that as a passing certificate because you did something. You see? Now, that can sound terrible, but the good news is that God is most merciful. So it's most likely that, like, you stand and really remember Him, or sit and remember Him fully for even 10 minutes, He will show you what you want to see. You don't have to look at the worst case scenario of that. The point about grace is, why do we look at it when we hear that it's all going to be grace? Ultimately, we always feel like, oh, then it's very difficult. No, then we should look at it and say, all is His grace and He loves us so much, then it's very possible. It should not seem as possible. It should seem more possible because of that. Isn't that the usual reaction, that we can do whatever we want, but what will unfold will be only His grace? And our mind goes and says, oh no, then how long do I have to wait? You see, we never remember that He is the most merciful one. We just love to have control over the narrative. We just love to have that control and say, okay, even if I know it's 20 years, then at least I know it's 20 years. And grace sounds too unpredictable and scary. You see? So is it 20 minutes or 20 lifetimes? We don't know. Yeah. Now, how to do it, we don't know. You see? Like what to do to find the reality of the self, we don't know. But what not to do has been made very clear. Okay? And what not to do is fill yourself up with ego. You fill yourself up with ego only by constantly buying into what your mind is telling you about your life, about yourself, and about others in your life. Keep yourself empty of that. Keep yourself empty of that. You can use the inquiry, you can use God's name to bring you into the silence. So if there's a farmer and there's some fear of a drought this year, suppose like many years back when our irrigation systems are not so good, then every year there would be fear of a drought. No? And I'm sure even now there is. But so then suppose there's a farmer who's not prepared his fields for the rain, but is concerned about whether the rain will come or not. What will you tell them? See? There's no point lamenting about why God's grace is not happening unless we have prepared the field. Yes. Otherwise, even if the rain comes, we'll be busy with some outer entertainment. Isn't it? Our job, our end of the bargain we have to do. We must prepare the field for God's rain to come. But we cannot be then attached to Maya. You want Atma's eyes to be given to you so that you can see the truth. You see? But I'm just saying generally that your allegiance is to Maya, then how will Atma's eyes, there is the space for Atma's eyes to work, to be given. So when we inquire and we ask ourselves the question, who am I? We first see the limitation of our sensory perception and our mind to be able to tackle this question. Okay. Then we stop allying with it. Either we get tired of allying with it or we stop seeing that it's just not possible. The instrument is too gross to capture the subtlety of reality. So we stop allying with the false instrument. Then in the stopping of the allying with the false instrument, we drop into the true instrument. We fall into the true instrument, then we stop relying so much on the false. So the way to make ourselves fertile for God's eyes to open in our heart is to stop being attached to the false and stop relying on the false. So we have been told that in the tree, in the garden, there are two trees. In the biblical story, in the biblical history, I have to stop calling these things story. In the Bible, we are told that in the Garden of Eden, which was heavenly, there are two trees. Which are they? पढ़ा है ना? What happened? The tree of knowledge and the tree of life. Isn't it? Have I got it wrong? It's possible. I may always mix up things. So the tree of knowledge and the tree of life. And it is said that the whole garden is there to enjoy, and the tree of life is, of course, the center of it. But don't bite out of the tree of knowledge. Now, I always found that a very strange history. Because we were always told that knowledge is a good thing. So why not to bite out of that tree? That it was always confusing to me as a child. No? Anyway, I was an atheist for most of my life, so I was reading with the bias of skepticism anyway. So that's it actually. So if you don't bite out of the what you consider to be knowledge right now, then the tree of life will prosper. But if you take a bite out of the tree of knowledge, then you'll be asked to leave the Garden of Eden, leave heaven. Our spiritual life is contained in that history. Don't go to the mind. You don't rely so much on your senses. Allow your antakarna, your soul, to be in service to that tree of life which is in your heart. Then you live in heaven. Heaven is God's presence. The ego's attempt is what? To create its version of heaven in the false realm and try to be the king of heaven himself in the world. That famous song when we were growing up was "Everybody wants to rule the world." It's true that if given the option, everybody would want to rule the world, because this banishment, you see, feels like the prodigal son trying to make it by themselves and trying to become the king of this world. But they can't overcome death. Can't overcome the ephemeral nature of this appearance. And that is always troubling the mind. So you look at people who are the richest people today. What is the one project that all of them are working on? There are two projects actually that all of them are working on. You see, whether it's a Musk or it's a Bezos or it's a Bill Gates, all these people are working on these two projects. One is that Earth is not enough. We want to go further out into space. And now because they have domination here, and the ego is not satisfied. Like, oh, we'll end up destroying this place soon, so we need to have a backup option. Better that you spend that money on not destroying this place. No? That would be probably better. And second, what is the second project? Immortality. How can we escape a disease? So they're working on all kind of science fiction type projects about how the body can forever be disease free, or how, I don't know what their definition of consciousness is, but it's not the same as ours. How consciousness can be transplanted. So they're all working on these kind of initiatives. So if you look at it, because it doesn't like the fact that we can become kings of this ephemeral world, But what about death? So it's the same Nachiketa story in the Katha Upanishads from 1,000 years back. The same story repeats itself. The god of death comes to Nachiketa and says, I'll make you king of the world, basically. No? And this child says, but will I be free from you then? No, everything that you have, and you will have to die because nobody escapes me. So then this young boy asks the Lord of Death, says, then you give me the knowledge which is beyond you. So that knowledge is called the Katha Upanishad. So it's the same human condition which repeats generation after generation. All because we took and continue to take the bite from the wrong tree. So those two trees are the two modes of knowledge. Tree of life is the right mode of knowledge, and the tree of knowledge, which we think to be knowledge, is conceptual right and wrong, good or bad, better or worse, what should I do? The need to take charge over our life using the concepts of good, better, worse. That is the mind-intellect organism. It gets us caught up in Maya. Don't take a bite now. Free from Maya. Just don't take a bite. Let all the apples come and go. Isn't that all spirituality is saying basically? That all temptations from the wrong place come and go. You stay in your heart. So after hearing this, what is your move? I want to see your move on your faces. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Fresh, fresh, empty, empty. So funny, no? Everywhere is the same thing. And everyone says we are different. Good. Yeah. Just try this for some time. You see how irrelevant all the things that have bothered us will become. Just try. Nonsense about nothingness. Remember that the mind something is really nothing. And the mind's nothing is all there is. What do you find when you go deep within yourself? And nothing. That nothing is everything. That no thing is where everything comes from. You see? And the somethingness of the mind is really nothing, is vapor. Vaporware. Ashtavakra, Yoga Vashisht. All the scriptures have told us that. Ecclesiastes. Everything is vanity, basically. It's another way to call it vaporware. It doesn't really exist. Vaporware it's a software term. I think. It's just like you got some marketing, but there's actually no product. So that is called vaporware. So that is the good definition of Maya. It's all vaporware. It's all marketing from the mind, but there is no substance to anything. Okay, let's go to Sharad.
Namaste, Father.
Yes.
Actually, I was about to ask when I was seeing the last satsang, you were telling no, after we drop this body, then meeting meeting God's feet, even if not meeting God's feet after dropping this body and remembering that itself is His grace. Correct me if I'm wrong. You told something like that.
Yeah.
But there is nothing to ask now. It's His grace. Now I understood somehow.
So we talked about it today also, that whether it rains on a farmer's field is completely up to God's grace. Yeah? But, and of course, I'm not talking about you or anybody here. I'm just saying that suppose there was a farmer who sold his field to drink and gamble, and then that farmer is lamenting about um, the rain not coming. So what will you call that farmer? Is it? So, in the same way, our job is to keep the field ready. Whether the true work, which is the rain coming, happens or not, is up to God. So we cannot sell ourselves, literally sell our souls to Maya and expect that God will replace our eyes with His eyes so that we can see the highest reality. We must offer ourselves, our antakarna, to God constantly, so then God can make that His home. Whether God will give us place at His feet after this body is dropped, during this body is here, all of those things are for God to decide. We make the choice moment to moment about who we love. Yeah, let's go to Divan.
Hey, Master, can you hear me?
Hello, my dear. Yes, I can.
Thank you. I just felt to ask you for your blessings to like stay in the true place of seeing.
Yes, we're just getting your mic. So,
Just want to ask for your blessings to stay in the true place of seeing because I've just been reflecting for a couple of days and I realized that it's just like, you're speaking about I've tried to do with my hand like the photo booth of the Holy Spirit and
yes,
how like that close when you do your two hands together, like that thing. I saw that all of this existence actually is about that, and that
yes,
there's that there's actually a force, and this force is not just outside, that is inside me as well. That is trying. to prevent that from happening. So he would try everything. And it's I'm seeing this and I'm seeing that there is something in me wants to just stay there and just leave everything and be in that. But at the same time, there's like the aspect of my being that wants to be like not like a something somebodyness like habit. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it.
Yes,
Like
yes,
of like shape taking. It doesn't even have to be like an arrogant shape or prideful shape, but just like the I don't know, like the hunger for shape is there somehow.
yes,
And I'm seeing that as like a habit, and I'm seeing that the only way to is just to continuously abide in that. And I was saying that actually that every pathway, every single thing that has to do with truth is actually saying the same thing in a way. It's like they're beating the same like beats of the spirit. It's the same thing, you know. Like when I listen to the word of Christ and I see that it's the same like they're beating from the same drum of the spirit of truth, the same place actually, and just expressing in different ways depending on the capacity to hear. And it's just so I just feel so grateful that somehow the Spirit of God has been able to open the ears of my soul to be able to hear what you speak and also for it to resonate in my heart. But I also know that I have to stay in this as much as I'm able to in the true place of saying, because in that true place of saying, I see that only from this place is love in its purest expression able to manifest. Like even and it's so beautiful how even without like sometimes even if your clothes are very dirty and you just turn your heart to God, you know, He can even use you to speak through someone and something
yes,
happens there. So I'm saying this mercy that you speak of the truth, and although there like this like there's like a concept free God, like God beyond the concepts, but it's still alive somehow in its true way. But I'm seeing that there is something that wants something to leave that place somehow, and it's like a battle in me,
yes,
and
yes,
it's like a very it's a very subtle battle because it's very something doesn't it's very it's like this thing you speak of is very true, very true. Like that's why I just ask for your blessings, Master, to stay in this place because the most true place is true beyond the concept of truth. It's just true somehow.
yes.
It's just true.
Full blessings for this. Full support, full love, full blessings for this.
Thank you, Master.
Because this truly is the battleground. Who we are facing is the battle. Who will we face? Will we face the light of the Atma within? Or will we face the offering of Maya? So all of us need all the blessings in the world, beyond the world, to stay in this holy place. All my blessings, all my love. So all our lives are a love triangle, basically. And your antakarna, your soul, is at the center of this love triangle. Now, it will seem like a digression, but I promise I'll try to bring it back to the point, which is that if you notice the template of a love story in this world, have you seen what the template is? Like 90% of the love stories are the same. And the template is basically encapsulated in Pride and Prejudice. What happens in Pride and Prejudice? There are these two men who are vying for the girl. One man is flashy and loud and extravagant and gets all the attention. And the other man is this quiet, silent, supportive types. Yeah? Now, in all, like most of these rom-coms, all of these romantic stories, there's the same thing that plays out. One will be, I think one of them is called Darcy, and the other one, I don't know what it is, what the name is. But so that is the story of our life. Maya is this flashy, extravagant one who's offering a lot. There's so much that you can have fun with, be entertained by, get distracted by fully. You see? And the Atma is the strong, silent types. Sitting there waiting, not impatient, not rushing, not doing any drama. You see? And ultimately, our soul understands who the right partner is. It gives up on the flash of Maya, gives up on the attractions that Maya has to offer, and falls in love with the true one. And then that love deepens and deepens till that becomes one. So it's so strange in a way that this most popular sort of framing of a love story is actually the story of our soul. Attracted to all the flash, all the offer, all the pride, all of these things. But ultimately, we have to turn to the true love in our hearts. Don't expect a false lover to give up very easily. This Maya will cause all the distractions, all the trouble, everything. Every day we've talked about it. It'll offer one theme to focus on, something to distract us with. So in this movie about your life, who are you picking? That is the key. Did anyone predict, including myself, we'll be talking about Pride and Prejudice in Satsang? But it's very apt. I just realized it's very apt. And maybe that's why that same story appeals to us, and we've seen it in Hindi, we've seen it in all languages, we've seen so many different versions of this. Yeah. And nobody's ever rooted for the flashy one to win at the end. Because of no substance, vaporware, all flash and no substance in this world. Okay, Eric.